You know, I had to freshen it up. It's really easy to go out and just get stuck in a rut if you do anything too long. And then with wakeboarding or kiteboarding, just it just felt like I wasn't progressing much, and I'd go out, have a good session, but it wasn't learning anything new, which is kind of like, that's what keeps me inspired. So I jumped on a skate. You know, at that time Cabrinha was testing prototypes for skates, and we got to mess around with them, and found a pretty good design, and it was a lot of fun. You know, I just clicked right away, and you're learning something new every day. You go out, you learn something, you come in, you're stoked. Like, the excitement's back. It's like starting from the beginning again. It's kind of nice.
I'm the one you call, I'm the one you like. Make sure no one's going home alone tonight. Climb into your head, make myself at home. Wind you up and turn you on and watch you go. We're gonna watch you go. We're gonna watch you go. Inhale, exhale, just keep repeating one more, two more. Tell me how you're feeling, and I will be the one to save you. And I'll be the one to pick you up.
Like, people do ask about the weight of the board. I think it comes in at just under 10 pounds. It's purposeful. We could have made it a lot lighter, but because most of the time when you're kiting, there's wind involved, you need that extra weight to keep the board from blowing away for the most part. You have to keep it on your feet, whether it's spinning, flipping, or even just like popping some air. It always has a tendency to just blow down wind. And so we found like an all-around good weight was probably around 10 pounds. Any more heavier than that, and you'll like ollie and the board actually falls off your feet. And any lighter than that, and you try to do any kind of trick, and it's just so unstable that it's not really in control. They're not necessary. Actually, like the first 3 months I kite skated, I didn't have shoes at all. It makes a difference though. Like, even with the EVA deck, you can ride this like barefoot and it feels great. You're not gonna have any problems. Once you start getting into like flip tricks and stuff, then you have to start worrying about, like landing on the fins maybe with your feet. That's kind of like a reason for having shoes. And then just in general, you get a lot more grip on whether it's EVA or if it's the grip deck. Yeah, just the soles of the shoes really grab on you, give you just that little more grip that you might need. And at the same time, when you're trying specific tricks, you need just the tips of the shoes to do something, and they make a pretty big difference when you start getting a little more advanced. But a lot of times someone will get on a skate, and they'll be riding along, and they want to ride like a twin tip, they'll be like this, where it's symmetrical stance. It doesn't really work that well. You end up like pushing a lot of water with the center of the rocker. What I tell people most of the time is I use like the 2/3 to 3/4 rule, which pretty much means, you put your foot back kind of on the kick, not necessarily where it feels comfortable. Then your front foot either goes 2/3 up the board or 3/4 up the board, depending on your size. And that'll kind of give you the right stance to like get the most out of the rocker. Most people think that getting on a skate, it's gonna be harder to stay upwind. Actually, I found that with the same size kite, I'm more efficient at staying upwind than someone that's on a regular kiteboard. And the reason being that I can move my feet around to adjust for the conditions. So, for example, if I'm just cruising around, it's relatively powered, I'm about there. So I'm looking like my back foot's almost all the way to the back, my front foot's about 3/4 of the way up the board, and I'll just be cruising along, super easy. If you transition, then you just switch over, foot there, there. Sometimes I'll kick my front foot out a little bit. It's kind of just preference, what feels best. Usually when you're starting out, you're gonna have it pretty square. If you're having a hard time edging the board or anything, it's actually, you do most of the edging with the back foot. So if your back foot's over here like this, you're gonna have a hard time edging because your heel's just not on that back rail. So you gotta make sure your foot's placed well, not dead center on the board, a little bit on the heel side rail, and you're just going along. you kind of have to get in this position to throw any sort of trick. Your back foot usually goes all the way to the back. The further back your foot goes, usually the easier it is to spin the board. The front foot will kind of come around and actually kink out a little more. When you start riding like this, you'll feel the board is really unstable, but purposefully so, because you're lining up for a trick. You're not going to ride around all the time like this. It's usually only a couple seconds before you're going to throw something, whether it's like a shove it, back of the foot, or as a kick flip where you bring your foot out a little further and then kick flip it. Once you kind of get that feeling, you understand that it's just one more element to keeping the kite in the air, keeping the board going the right direction, and then keeping the board on your feet. Then it kind of clicks after that.
I'm the one you call, I'm the one you like. Make sure no one's going home alone tonight.